days. Usually anymore, as I say, I am very selective anymore when I do my live reviews. Sometimes I feel like I should do them immediately right after the show. Sometimes I feel like I should just wait, gather my thoughts, or I'm too tired. I'd rather do them when I'm peppy and, I can do this. So, we're going to get into this. What's going on? This is a Club of the Maniacs 93, and I am here live to give you my live review of WWE Extreme Rules 2020. I'm sorry, the horror show at Extreme Rules 2020, whatever you want to call it. It took place at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. I almost said Boston, Massachusetts, and I still don't know why I almost said that. Maybe because that's where SummerSlam is supposed to be next month, but of course it's probably not going to happen because of what's going on around here. If there was a show that I definitely wanted to make sure I was had the right energy, I was in full character, not coming up here to do a review to make sure I get it done before, I don't have a lot on my plate down the line. It's definitely this one from a show like this. Oh gosh. Here's the thing. If things don't work on a show, it's not the end of the world. It really is not. There's a ton of shows that I've seen a lot in WWE that look like they're just doing it just to say they're doing it, and it's not appealing, it's not fun. But what ticks me off is shows like this that have intelligence, insulting moments, stuff that makes you think, can this realistically, flow? Can we really have a match where we're plucking somebody's eye out of place? Or the fact that we're bending the rules? Apparently anybody can be the special guest referee? And have a segment being the main event? Yeah, this show was not good. Although, I'll put it this way. Was there some good in-ring action? Yes, definitely. I will say I was actually enjoying this show, saying that, okay, not too bad, up until the finish for Eye for an Eye. Oh, dear God Almighty. I would have just loved, to see how the crowd actually would have reacted if it was a real crowd and not a micromanaged crowd for that match. And, of course, for the end of that Raw Women's Championship match, especially that freaking Raw Women's Championship match. That should have been match of the night. And it was on track to be a good candidate. Until the finish. See, here's the theme here. There's been some matches that have had a very, very, very bad finish. And you know what? In hindsight 2020, some of them you guys see how you follow up with them. An example, Hell in a Cell last year. Yes, both Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt, in my opinion, recovered from that. They went in the right direction with their characters. Seth Rollins turned heel. Bray Wyatt did win the Universal title next month. You still killed the point of Hell in a Cell. 2 years in a row, you killed the whole point of Hell in a Cell. This show, I don't know how we're going to follow up. I don't understand how you follow up from what you did in this show. Or, the stuff just felt pointless, as I would say. Before we talk about the matches, let's check the live chat first. There is a lot of people in the live chat. Let's see what we've got here. What's up, Mark? This really was a horror show. Oh, indeed it was. Tyler says the worst pay-per-view of 2020. F+. The Raw Women's Championship match sucked. WWE killed the brand split again. Not yet. CM Punk is right about Vince. Oh yeah, we'll get into that in a second when we talk about a match that was canceled. More like the horrible show. No grade from Mark. 2 out of 10. Tyler gave it. Is this worse than 2015 Extreme Rules? I'd say yes. 2015 Extreme Rules was just boring to me, But it wasn't a complete intelligence insulting show, I would say. So I'd say this was worse than Extreme Rules 2015. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's like Vince Russo booked this. Set up for nothing for SummerSlam. Oh, exactly. Nothing. Set up for absolutely nothing. Like how are you going to follow up from the stuff on this show? Really? How? The only pre-show match they had, I didn't make a graphic for it, was Kevin Owens and Buddy Murphy. I didn't watch it, but apparently Kevin Owens won the match. At the beginning of the show, they had like a vignette, like a vampire vignette of like Bray Wyatt, just introducing us to the horror show, as they call it. And then Rambling Rabbit randomly plays footage from the karaoke segment, and of course Bray's like, we don't talk about that or stuff. Basically implying that, WWE is saying, yeah, we thought this was trying to justify that, like, okay, yeah, we should have done the ha ha ha, we thought it was dumb too. Trying to play along the crowd, like, we're one of you guys. No. Here's the thing, WWE. If you knew that karaoke segment was so bad, that was pre-taped. You could have avoided that. You could have edited it out. You couldn't have aired it on the air, but nope. You still had to do it, and you have to justify like, whoa, we didn't think you guys would react to that. We thought it was funny. Of course you guys think it was funny, because you're an audience of one, and do not have any mindset towards what else Bray wants. Instead of doing stupid karaoke segments and turning Lacey Evans heel all over her losing a karaoke segment. Throwing a hissy fit, throwing shoes, getting all mad at Naomi over a karaoke segment. Make sense to you? I don't think so. Not at all. But, let's talk about the first two matches. Again, like I said before, I actually was fine with this show. As in, I'm not going to come up here and tear this show to shreds. It was what it was. Up until the finish of Eye for an Eye. So let's talk about the main show. We opened up, as expected, with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Tables match. The New Days, Big E and Kofi Kingston, the 8 times Tag Team Champions, taking on the team of Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, here's my question. Why are Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro a tag team? There's still no rhyme, there's no reason behind it. And how many more tag teams is Cesaro going to be a part of? Again, this is the 4th tag team Cesaro has been a part of. Why is this man friggin' reduced as a tag team specialist? You see, he can't even get a singles title run, not even for the Intercontinental or the United States Championship. What is so wrong with Cesaro getting a singles title run? I don't get it. This match was still decent. I thought it was, at least. But like I said before, I'm not the biggest fan of tables matches, because you only put your opponent through one table to win. It could be a very cheesy looking finish, like John Cena and Sheamus at TLC 2009, or Big Show and Cody Rhodes at TLC 2012, where Big Show's foot slips off the apron and steps into the table. Vince is probably laughing, that's funny. No. It's stupid. Making the Big Show look like an idiot. But this match was still decent. A couple decent spots. The finish was nice. Having like a giant power bomb from basically the top rope through 2 tables. Cesaro pretty much killed Kofi going through the tables to end New Day's 8th tag team title reign. Cesaro and Nakamura are champions. Surprised they are, because literally there's nothing to them as a tag team. There's no story to them besides the fact that they demand respect. But it's like, why are they working together? Again, why were they both... I mean, okay, Nakamura and Sami Zayn, teamed up. Sami couldn't heal people. But again, like, why did Cesaro join? Cesaro just showed up one day and just said, hey, I'll work with you guys. That's literally all it looked like. And now they're SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Oh, gosh. Where's the depth? Are they taking the time to build the depth right now? They are not. I'm sure at some point they're going to give the tag titles back to the New Day, just so they have their 9th tag title reign past the Dudley Boys. Love New Day, but once again, Kofi Kingston could have had a good singles run. They had him get squashed by Brock Lesnar, And all he can say was whenever Miz makes fun of him for it, Miz, you suck. And then there's Big E, who I've been dying to see get in the world title picture. Dying to see. The instant I started watching wrestling, I saw Big E. I'm like, he's a world champion material right there. I love this run of the Intercontinental Championship back in 2014. Well, late 2013 into early 2014. I love that run. It was a solid run from Big E. It wasn't amazing. It was solid. He could be a legitimate badass. But they're keeping it together because, once again, there's no other tag teams. Let's call it, maybe you should establish some. And don't just throw two random superstars who should be in the main event picture like Cesaro and Nakamura together and have no story. Make sense? I know it's not. You don't care WWE. So, yeah. So, Nakamura and Cesaro win the tag titles. I'm surprised. I'm hearing rumors, though, that they're going to be debuting new SmackDown tag titles. Maybe we'll see that this week on Friday. Who the heck knows? I don't know. Who knows? Moving on now to match number 2, which I actually thought was good. I actually like this next match, surprisingly. Match number 2, Bayley versus Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Of course, this is probably one of the least anticipated matches on this show. It was easily a throwaway match for the Women's Championship, but we all knew Nikki Cross was not going to win. Here's the thing, though, and it's a difference between Nikki Cross and someone else in a later match I'll talk about, because something that happened in a later match, I'm like, this could have worked if it was someone I could believe could have won. Because that person's had way too many opportunities in the main event scene, and he always loses them. Nikki Cross, fresh face, in the main event scene for the women's division. Yes, I don't like how they kind of toned down Psycho Nikki, pretty much, or the Twisted Sister gimmick for her, and made her Gossip Girl Nikki Cross instead, which, again, I just don't think fits her at all whatsoever. But, of course, going into this match, after the segments I saw on SmackDown this past week, Nikki Cross is having doubts she can do it, because Bayley keeps pinning her with, cheating to do so. This match actually kind of had a good flow to it. They had a lot of those moments where it looked like, yes, Bayley was bullying around Nikki, but Nikki was able to, overcome some of the obstacles. A couple times where we thought Nikki was going to win, which I thought looked pretty good. The match ends, of course, with Bayley cheating. She gets part of Sasha Banks' legit boss, brass knuckles, and punches Nikki in the gut and hits her finisher, whatever the heck she's calling it, to retain the championship. That was solid. I thought it was solid. Again, I actually, they gave me hope to actually believe Nikki may win this. Because, of course, like I said, Nikki Cross has been been worn down to me, thinking, Nikki's definitely not going to win. But, of course, that eventually, probably the person to take the title off of Bayley is going to be Sasha Banks. Maybe, who the hell knows, after what happened in that Raw Women's Championship match. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, it actually had a few spots where it made me think that maybe Nikki may win this, has a chance. It gave me not okay, just get this over with. But again, not bad. I gotta say, probably one of the least intelligence insulting matches on the show, and that's saying something. This is not an anticipated match for me. Alright, let's move on now to where I felt the show started to dip just a little bit. Not too much, but I still thought this was super lazy. So, they announced that, of course, we were supposed to get a match for the United States Championship last night between Apollo Crews and MVP. Well, they announced that Apollo Crews did not pass a physical and was unable to compete. The news came out today that Apollo Crews has the virus. But of course, WWE can't say that. They don't want people to know who's sick with the virus. They don't, because it doesn't make Apollo Crews look bad. It doesn't make MVP look bad. It makes themselves look bad. Holy moly, WWE, I can't make myself look bad at all. So I gotta find a way to cover up for what's going on with our property. So they make up some like these dumb excuses. These dumb. You can tell, like, whoever Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard behind the scenes, they really don't know how to make things realistic to the audience. They come up with some lame like phrase such as match stoppage or, oh, this match cannot be stopped for any reason. It's like you're talking to a 5-year-old, for crying out loud. Oh, Apollo Crews can't wrestle because he didn't pass a physical. And it's just me, you're just picking out whenever, they put Apollo Crews in that full Nelson from Bobby Lashley on the ramp last month. Did you feel like it was just randomly picked out? It's like for weeks they weren't even hyping up the fact that Apollo Crews was hurt and out and whatnot. So MVP gets in the ring, basically saying he should be declared the new United States champion. Of course, because one, Apollo Crews the old belt, he presented the new belt, and two, he did beat Apollo Crews in a non-title match. So there is truth to that. I just wish they would have actually done something a little bit more, like, interesting. And not just like, yeah, he's not here, so I'm champion, that's it. It just looked super lazy to me. So, this was what it was. But this! Next! I am about to tell you about a finish that could really kill. Well, not just this finish, especially the match after this. But this is one of those finishes to me that just like wiped everything out. Nothing else mattered. And also made me feel like this whole thing was just a giant waste of time. But actually, first, as we're about to get into the nitty gritty stuff, let's check the live chat before we move on. Crowd is fake as hell. I wish Charlotte was here. She's like the only thing about this damn division. And Becky, Bayley, and Sasha are Gorley hogs. Backlash. Oh yeah, Backlash was what it was. This was not what it was. This one was intelligence insulting, especially when we get here. He likes tables matches with the Dudley Boys. Rumble is the best pay-per-view of 2020, and this show is the worst. MVP is a 3-time U.S. champion now. Alright, let's talk about this, guys. I am ready to talk about this next match. Match number 4. Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. The Monday Night Messiah. In an eye for an eye match. You won this match by pretty much ripping out your opponent's eye. Just one of them. Not both of them, just one of them. So, here's the thing about this match. Up until the finish, it was a really good match. I really liked what they did. Looking back on it, this should have been an Extreme Rules match. Because of, here's the thing, and I'll get to this later when we talk about the stipulation for Ziggler and McIntyre's match. When I hear Extreme Rules, I don't want to see the usuals. I don't want to see, smack with a chair, smack with a kendo stick, the stuff we get in like a no disqualification or no holds barred match. No, it's called Extreme Rules for a purpose. Literally, take that no DQ, no holds barred, street fight caliber stuff, take it to another level. Do things he normally would not do. I hate when they say that it's Extreme Rules, yet it feels no different than like a no disqualification match or a no holds barred or anything like that. This, though, I felt could have fit that. If it wasn't for that finish. So, the match began. Seth Rollins came out with a pair of pliers in his hand. Rey Mysterio, of course, didn't come down the ramp. He snuck in from behind, and that's how the match began. They used kendo stick shots to try to take out the eye. They had a couple other random tools they were pulling out to use. Seth Rollins even smacked his eye off of the corner of a table. Well, the announce table. And then, here's the thing also. Like I said, another reason why this could have been Extreme Rules. If you wanted Rey to get any type of comeuppance in this match, even if he didn't win the match, He could have still pierced Rollins' eye into the steel steps just like Rollins did. He didn't have to basically make it obvious, okay, somebody's eye's gotta get taken out to win this. No! It's just an aggressive grudge match that's super personal and make Extreme Rules. It didn't have to be, oh, somebody's gotta rip the other person's eye out. So, let's get to this finish. Because I was still very thrown off by this finish. Rollins hit a curb stomp. Well, first off, Rey Mysterio even hit a curb stomp on Seth Rollins. I thought that was cool. Seth then follows back up and hits a curb stomp of his own on Mysterio. And before this, Rey had ripped off the covering of his bad eye. The eye that was originally pierced 2 months ago. Seth Rollins then gets a hold of Rey. And he drives the same eye into the steel steps for like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. It was like 10 seconds back in May or wherever the heck it was when he first pierced Mysterio's eye. Much more convincing. This was not convincing at all. So then it looked like Rey was sitting there for like 2 seconds and then he just laid down. Rollins backs off, getting ready to set him up. But all of a sudden, oh my gosh! Rey Mysterio all of a sudden sits up and goes, I need a doctor! And I'm like, what? First off, isn't somebody, pressing into the steps gonna, crush it, not yank it out? I'm expecting, the eye to get, ripped out of its socket. That's not ripped out. That's crushing it. So realistically, it didn't work. Second off, of course, you didn't see it until the photos. Oh my gosh, my eye feels weird now to talk about this. They had a fake toy eye inside Rey Mysterio's mask to look like the eye actually fell out. And Seth Rollins starts fake puking. He was literally puking. I hated it! First off, again, realistically, isn't that crushing the eye? Not ripping it out. That's the first problem I had with this. Second off, take away the whole fact that, the way he had to win this match. Take that out of the picture. Here's the other thing that got me about this. It was the same freaking eye as 2 months ago, and it was the same exact finish. The same exact result. The same thing. Seth Rollins pierced Rey Mysterio's right eye. It was the same thing as 2 months ago. What does this accomplish? Seriously, I picked Seth to win this. But winning this, something else had to have happened. Maybe he pierced Rey's other eye. No, he pierced Rey's already bad eye. And then also I thought it has to be a heartbreaking thing by having Dominic turn on Rey. I thought we were going to get either Dominic or Humberto Carrillo turning on Rey Mysterio. I thought one of the two was going to happen to make it even more effective. To me, it's we got the same exact thing from 2 months ago. Where do you go from here? What is Rey going to get more revenge on Seth? What are you going to do again? Go full circle again? Oh, I want to get revenge on you. I make a stipulation. Oh, eye for an eye. I want to gouge your eye out again. What's the point of this if it literally came back to right where it started? Same exact eye, same exact. It happened the same exact way. It was literally that segment from 2 months ago recycled, except didn't look as effective. How do you follow up from this? At this point, Rey Mysterio might as well just not come back. I mean, he's working without a contract right now, but how does he follow up from this? Where does Seth Rollins go from here? This left these two nowhere. I mean, okay, maybe Seth can find somewhere to go because he won the match. But again, Rey, no, what was the point of this? Just see the same exact thing happen to Rey. Nothing, no other plot twist, no other turns and whatnot happened. Again, it was a waste. It felt like a total waste. Nothing got accomplished. Nothing got taken to another level. Nothing just... I don't know. So, yes, the stipulation itself was stupid. Again, it should have just been an Extreme Rules match. But this needed something else. Not just legitimately repeat the same ending. I mean, okay, yes, Ray got Seth's eye into the steel steps a little bit. Okay, cool. The in-ring action was great. But again, the finish was just flat. It was literally the same exact thing we got from 2 months ago. It was nothing different. It felt like I felt like I was watching that segment again, except the fact that the piercing the Ray's eye was not that effective. And again, they used the same eye. Do the other eye. Pierce both of his eyes if that was supposed to be the case. I probably wouldn't have liked it that much more, but still, it would have at least been a little bit more bearable. Not bearable. Would have actually worked more. Instead, you pierce the same exact eye. I don't know what they were thinking with this. They overproduced, and then just lazy finish. That's all I gotta say. That's the eye for an eye match. So that was intelligent. If you thought that was insulting or disappointing, wait till you hear about this next one. Match number 5. Asuka and Sasha Banks. Raw Women's Championship. I was excited for this match. I thought this could be match of the night. This had the potential to be match of the night. And for about 95% of this match, it was awesome. It was great. These two work really well in the ring together. Excellent chemistry. They both work really well together. I loved it. Then the finish came. So Kairi Sane got taken out. I can't remember how she got taken out, but also apparently this is her last week in the company anyways, so it doesn't matter anyways. So Kairi gets taken out. Bayley's at ringside, of course, trying to cause distractions with the championships, and it didn't quite work out. So right when it looked like Asuka had everything back under control, back in the palm of her hands, Kairi Sane gave her, I guess, the pill or whatnot to spit out the green mist. She was going to get the green mist into Sasha's face. Instead, Sasha ducks out and goes, "Ah!" And Asuka sprays the referee in the face instead. The referee's like, "Ah, my eyes! My eyes! My infamy!" So what happens? I'm thinking, okay, we're going to wait for another referee to come out. Or there's going to be another back and forth sequence, right? No. Bayley, a superstar, not a certified referee, comes in, rips off the referee's shirt. And I'm like, what the heck's she doing? She puts it on. Helps Sasha pin Asuka. And then the ring announcers were like, I can't do this. She's like, ring the bell! Ring the bell! And they ring the bell. Of course, it's looking like Sasha Banks is now the Raw Women's Champion. But she's not. Because not a freaking random superstar, well, okay, Bayley's not random, but not just any person can step in there and be a referee. What's the point of this? And then it's like, realistically, it makes your backstage officials look stupid because who's not coming out and saying that's not the final finish, that can't be the case because Bayley's not a referee. But no, they couldn't come out and have somebody address that. Not even Adam Pearce or whoever it is. That's why we need GMs. But I'm sorry, the McMahons are running things now because we're not the authority. You are. Up your ass, Vince. This made no sense. It made everyone look stupid. It made Bayley look stupid. It made Sasha look stupid. Like, how are you gonna follow from this? Tonight on Raw, they're gonna say, "Oh, Sasha, you're not the champion. Asuka still is because Bayley's not a referee." And then Bayley's not gonna care, and then Sasha's gonna be like, "Oh, this is all your fault. Everything's gonna be about you," and that's the turn. Realistically, do you think... Okay, yes, Bayley and Sasha are supposed to be heels, right? Do you really think they're that dumb to think that they can get away with Having Bayley be the referee during the match when she's not even a certified referee at all whatsoever. I mean, you already had Bayley look dumb enough as a baby face whenever she inserted herself in that 6-woman tag match like a couple years ago, whenever her and Sasha were never-ending, beating each other up mentally until they finally decided to be friends and everything we handle. And this made no sense. This really, really made no sense. It was a slap in the face and intelligence insulting. That's what I keep saying. The theme of this show, the horror show, intelligence insulting. That eye for an eye finish, and then this finish as well. We really think we're going to believe that Bayley and Sasha are that stupid that they really thought they could have gotten away with that. You really think they're going to believe that they still can be the champions? And of course, since no one could tell them last night, who's going to tell them tonight that Sasha Banks is not the Raw Women's Champion? I mean, it's 8:04. Maybe somebody already has. I haven't turned on Raw yet, but who knows? I probably hated this finish, honestly, more than the eye for an eye finish. Because I didn't expect that to be able to, capitalize that finish. This, though, was even worse. Because this should have been a match of the night. Heck, this should have been a women's match of the year candidate, for crying out loud. But whatever. What do we know? We're just wrestling fans, right? We have to just accept what we got. And of course, again, the crowd is just micromanaged and whatnot. God, it's driving me nuts. Whatever. Moving on. Match number 6. The WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, with Dolph Ziggler picking the stipulation. So Dolph, of course, has the referee announce the match first, before he basically tells Drew, haha, you're stupid for signing that contract. You underestimated me. He goes, my pick is Extreme Rules. And I'm like, I could call that a mile away. But I didn't think he would do this. He goes, for me only. And then he adds on that, of course, there's no countouts or disqualifications for Dolph Ziggler. But if Drew gets counted out or disqualified, anything goes for Dolph Ziggler. Basically, Drew couldn't get counted out. He couldn't get disqualified. He couldn't use any weapons. He basically just had to use his own bare hands and feet or anything else besides weapons to beat Dolph Ziggler. But Dolph Ziggler, he could do whatever he wants. And you know what? I thought on Dolph's end, that was smart of him. That was very smart of him. But of course, a lot of people are saying one other thing he should have done. He should have taken away the Claymore. He should have said that McIntyre was not allowed to do the Claymore. And I thought it was a good match. I thought it was pretty good. I think Dolph, well, once again, as I said earlier, with it being Extreme Rules, what was extreme about it? To me, it felt more like Dolph Ziggler was just allowed it was Dolph Ziggler in a no DQ match and Drew McIntyre in a singles match. Again, what else? What makes this extreme? Something on another higher level than just no DQ or no holds barred. McIntyre won, no as I expected. Because here's the thing, though. Here is the nitpick I will have, though, about Dolph Ziggler picking up stipulations. It's Dolph Ziggler. Did you really think Dolph Ziggler had a chance to win this? Because in situations like this, you made Dolph look smart. You made him look like a genius. Maybe adding that Claymore band in there would have, been a little more effective also. But the thing is Dolph Ziggler is never going to win in the main event scene. Like I said earlier, Nikki Cross, we haven't, worn her apart that, okay, she's in the match, we know she's going to lose. Dolph Ziggler, we know he's going to lose. This was good. It was smart of Dolph, but I'm okay, but he's still going to lose. This was literally a placeholder match until SummerSlam, because I'm sure McIntyre is taking on Orton. If this was Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, would have been even 10 times more interesting. Drew McIntyre and, who else? Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles would have been interesting. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins would have worked. Drew McIntyre and Chris Jericho. Excellent. Drew McIntyre, Adam Cole, for crying out loud. Yes. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler? Because I know Drew's going to win. Like, even if this was McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, I still would have felt the same way as I did with Drew and Dolph. Same thing if it was Drew McIntyre and, like, Baron Corbin. For crying out loud. You know what would have been great? If this was Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns picked those stipulations. Ooh. Damn, I would have loved to have seen that. But Drew retained as I expected. Probably the best match of the show, to be honest. But like I said again, I knew Dolph was going to lose. So that's why when he announced it, I'm like, okay, smart of you, Dolph, but you're always going to lose anyways. So, as expected, Drew McIntyre retains. And then we get to the main event. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt in this Wyatt family swamp fight. This wasn't a match. This was not a match. This was a segment. This was a segment that I quite frankly just could not follow along with. And I think part of it's because, this is meant to come across as a horror movie. I watched this with one of my friends last night, and he said it kind of like made him think of like Friday the 13th. I've never seen Friday the 13th, so I can't quite relate to it. Strowman pulls up in his car, gets out. Wyatt's sitting there in his rocking chair, rocking back and forth. He disappears. Strowman throws the chair. He's walking through the swamp area, fighting off random minions and whatnot, until like a evil clone of the Black Sheep, Braun Strowman, whacks him with a shovel, and it looks like he knocks him out. They have Braun Strowman wake up. He's chained to the Sister Abigail chair inside the compound, which again I swore it was burned down by Randy Orton 3 years ago. That's right, correct? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Continuity does not exist in WWE. Bray Wyatt comes in, says a lot of wonky stuff to him, and then someone, we don't know who it was, brings in a snake, and the snake bites Braun Strowman. You think that's it, right? No, Braun wakes up where he got knocked out at. So I'm like, okay, was that a dream? Or was that... Like, that didn't make sense to me. So Braun gets up, he fights off more people until him and Bray Wyatt... Before him and Bray Wyatt finally started brawling with each other, there's a voice. It ends up being Alexa Bliss dressed up as Sister Abigail. Teasing, their, romantic moments when they were a mixed tag team and whatnot. I'm like, why does it make sense for Alexa Bliss now to be Sister Abigail? Like, okay, maybe it was Bray Wyatt just playing the mind games with Braun a little bit, but still, I thought it was just, it didn't fit. And then they started brawling all over the place. He had choke slam Bray into a boat. And it drove away, but it came back, and then they started fighting again in the swamp. And then, Bray started, whacked, Braun, 15 times, this, a wooden axe-looking thing. And then Braun gets up, pushes Bray into the swamp, and you think that's it. They're showing the graphic. But then out comes a hand, drags in Braun, slams him down, and it pulls up to be the Fiend. And that's how the show went off the air. Again, what was the point of this? I didn't get this. And even from the beginning, when they teased that it's going to be Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, I'm like, why? That character's dead. They ran it to the ground. I can't take the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt seriously. So I felt like nothing was accomplished from this other than what we knew the whole time. The Fiend was going to be coming after the title. Obviously, again, the first match they had Money in the Bank made much more sense because obviously Mr. Rogers' version of of Bray Wyatt wanted to protect Braun Strowman from the Fiend. So this should have been straight up the Fiend coming after Braun Strowman. This didn't have a flow to it. It was just another cinematic effort trying to make, oh, it's a horror show. People love horror. Well, guess what? It didn't work to me. It didn't work. It felt like a waste. And quite honestly, I'm dead serious when I say this. I would have much rather have had this be on SmackDown and had the bar fight with Jeff Hardy and Sheamus on this show. I'm not into that feud. Of course, I've said it many times. I'm not into the Jeff Hardy and Sheamus feud at all. But at least that would have been an actual match. Maybe, who knows? We've had 2 straight pay-per-views with cinematics that made no sense. This one, and then the one with the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits at Backlash. To me, this was just a filler segment. Like, it didn't need to happen. We knew the Fiend was coming. And to me, this just made no sense for Wyatt to go to the swamp. It didn't. It really didn't. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about this show. I talked a lot about this show. Extreme Rules, the horror show, again, finishes killed this show for sure. I mean, again, Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio could have been an Extreme Rules match. Or could have at least had a different finish other than repeating what happened 2 months ago. Felt like a waste. The finish to Sasha and Asuka was stupid. And then, everything else just was what it was. MVP and Lashley, again, was a little bit lazy with that segment. Again, Drew and Dolph was good, but again, like I said, I knew Dolph was going to lose. Would have been even 10 times better if it was someone who, we knew had a chance to win. And again, that Wyatt Swamp thing just felt like a segment. I felt like nothing was accomplished through that, in my opinion. So because of that, I'm giving this show a D+. And so far, it's my worst pay-per-view of the year. Oh, look, I've missed 15 minutes of Raw. Whoa, I don't care. Live chat before I go off the air. Let me see here. Where were we at? They can't put Jeff Hardy and Sheamus in the bar fight on here. Not that U.S. title match. This is like when Brock won Money in the Bank last year. Oh, gosh. It's women's worst match of the year. He misses Roman. The real main event was Drew and Ziggler for sure. Hi, Lauren. Extreme Rules did suck. Alexa Bliss's sister Abigail, hopefully a one-time thing. Oh yeah, Boneyard match for sure was the best cinematic. No doubt about it. That and, of course, the Firefly Funhouse match. I'll give those as good. Money in the Bank, inconsistent, but I found it acceptable. But after that, no. And Bayley screwing Asuka, yes, that was stupid. Yes, Cesaro is champ, but once again, tag team champion. He's much more than a tag team specialist. Bray should just go to AEW. Anyone needs to go to AEW. Everybody needs to go to WWE. Extreme Rules, the ending was better than this show. Yeah, but, whatever. Drew versus Orton at SummerSlam. No Bayley and Sasha at SummerSlam then. Who the heck knows? I'm not watching Raw right now yet, so I don't know what it is. They're having Jeff Hardy and Sheamus on Friday. And Drew and Dolph stole the show, pretty much. Guys, that's going to do it. Thank you all for joining me live. Again, D+ for Extreme Rules. Don't go back and watch it. It's intelligent insulting. It'll piss you off. It pissed me off. Well, had a good time with my friends, but it still pissed me off. That's going to do it, guys. What are your thoughts on this show? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe and comment on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAir93. I'll most likely be waiting till tomorrow to do my review of Raw. It depends on how I feel after the show. So I'll go watch Raw now. Just chill. Probably make it background noise. And we'll go from there. Check it out, guys. If I don't do Raw tonight, I'll see you guys tomorrow for my review. Peace out, everybody.